Hey, welcome back to a new episode of Logic Pro X Tutorials. Today we're going to do something a little bit different. This is going to be the first episode of a series where I show you guys the recording, mixing, and mastering process for mostly software instruments and vocal recording. The song we're going to do is Tequila Sunrise by the Eagles. It's familiar to most people. It won't require too many tracks, and I think we can burn through it and learn a lot of useful stuff. So let's go ahead and hop right in.
Baby, baby, it looks like it's gonna hail.
So I've got my track up here, and I actually started off by messing around with the metronome and trying to get what I felt was the tempo I wanted to record it at. You generally want to do something similar to the original, but you don't have to get it exact. The point of the cover is to make it your own. So this was the particular speed I wanted it at, which is 99 beats per minute. So I felt like that had a good groove. And so the first step was I went up here to my new track, and you can choose software instrument in the top left. And what I usually like to do is get my drum track open. Brooklyn's a pretty medium drum set. It's not too dirty and it's not too clean. It's just nice and solid to set up a drum backing track or scratch track. And so after I've got my metronome set, I just went and recorded 8 full bars of drums, and this is what it sounds like. So I went and did that for a full 8 bars. And the first step you want to do here is get your track selected and click the edit button. And go ahead and, if you're familiar with quantization at all, click over here in this section and hit Command A to select all the notes for the track, all the little MIDI sections. And go ahead and click whatever time you want. If you want 16th notes, it'll put everything within that particular grid of 16th notes. So that's what I wanted for this track. So I went in here, selected them all, went to 16th note, quantized. So we got our drum track set up. We got it quantized, and after you got your 8 bars, you can pull. I'm going to go over here to where I had it. At the end of the phrase here, you can pull and stretch that to loop it. You see that little circular arrow there. When you have that showing, you can pull it and loop whatever section you have there. And you can see the little divots where the end of the 8 bars occurs on each loop. So after I had that, the next thing we want to do is record a scratch piano track. I actually divided it into 2, one which is the intro, and then one which was the rest of the song. And right now at this stage of the process, all you're really trying to do is kind of tell if your drum track sounds the way you want it to sound. You want to play a piano track that kind of gives you an idea of all the parts in the song. And based on this track, you should be asking yourself, do the drums sound the way I want them to sound? Is anything off beat? Do I need more action in the drums or less action? Is the snare, do we want it on beat 2 and 4 or just beat 4? It's just things like that. So let's go ahead and hear what it sounds like once we added the piano in. So after you have that down, you basically want to record piano or whatever instrument. It could be a guitar track. It just depends on the song you're doing. I just wanted piano for this, even though the original Eagles track is guitar. And you want something going from beginning to the end of the song. So that way you can just kind of refer back to this over and over. And something I like to do is go up to this navigate section, and we have these things called markers. So for instance, let's go to the very first measure here, and we're going to go to navigate, create marker, double click, and now we can change that marker there. This one we're going to call intro. Measure 9 is where the first verse starts, so we're going to click on 9 here, navigate, create marker, and we're going to call this one verse 1, and so on and so forth. So when we hear an E minor here, we're going to know it's a chorus. So measure 25 is the chorus, so we create marker, chorus, and yeah, you generally want to do this from the beginning to the end. Here we go. So no matter where you are in the song, if we're at measure 12 and we're doing some editing, we can go to navigate, go to next marker, and it'll start us right at the chorus here. Okay, so we've got drums, piano. I haven't really adjusted any volume or effects or anything like that for the most part. Right now we're just trying to get our basic semblance of the song. So we've got a drum track, a piano track, and the next thing I'm going to add, because we're just going to keep this one nice and simple, is we're going to add a bass track next. I like my bass tracks up with the drums. Something good for this would probably be muted bass. We don't want it too subby. And then you just go to the beginning and play it and try and play along and see how it sounds. I've got these turned down just so they're not too loud for you guys. Okay, so we finished recording our bass track, and now let's just listen to a little bit of it in context of the drums and the piano tracks and just kind of see what we're working with so far. I'm going to turn it up just so we can hear the bass a little bit louder. Bass is not usually at the forefront of any particular band's sound, so it can be a little hard to hear it. Okay, so I think that's a pretty good stopping point for today. When we come back next time, I'm going to go ahead and drop my vocal tracks in. Sorry in advance for that. And we're going to mix and get started on the editing process. So I'm going to try and keep all these episodes under 10 minutes, or at least around 10 minutes. So I'll go ahead and see you guys next time. And take care until then.